More people that make six figures in the U.S. than any other industry come from direct sales. 80% of the women in the United States that make over six figures come from the direct sales side of things. So now we're combining direct sales with network marketing, and it can be very powerful. We like to call it fusion marketing. It's a little trendy and unique. But I think that's pretty much my story and what I've done to get to this point. I'm just excited to be here. I didn't even really know. Sue told me that she was going to put it in the flyer. I didn't know how much I was going to be doing, but I think I'll come up a couple times tonight and get to talk to you. So, thank you.
All of you are Cupids in this audience. He's 23, single. You got a great income. So, hey, how's that? Are we ready to go? It's Ian, right?
Yep.
Okay. They want to film this tonight. So, what we're going to do with it, we'll figure that out, right? Let me just tell you, first of all, why I've invited you here and why someone else has invited you here. We do feel like, just like Anthony was saying, we do feel like we have a great opportunity. That won't come till the end of the meeting when DW closes up the testimonial part in our product-driven industry that we have, because it's been amazing. Just today alone has been just amazing on testimonies, and most of us are just getting started within the last few months with these products. But one of the reasons I reconnected with Tom Maurer, who is the co-founder, along with his son, with the Sisel. I was involved with Tom Maurer about 20-some years ago, and the reason I got involved was not so much on the nutrition, that you'll hear a lot about tonight, but I tell this story a lot because it's true, and everybody has their I story. But all the time I was growing up with 26 grandchildren in my grandma's family, I was one of those that they picked me out that I was the most like my grandmother. Well, the thing I remember about my grandmother was that she had a little knot on the top of her head, and I thought, oh no, when I get to be an old woman, I'm not going to have any hair. So I always prided myself in taking care of my hair. Well, when someone approached me on Tom Maurer's products 20-some years ago, one of the things that was sent to me that was my hot button, and everybody has a hot button, but the thing that really got my attention was the fact that he had sent, my friend had sent me from California, had sent me after 3 months of just saying, can I send it? Because he knew not to send it if I wasn't going to watch it. So I said, yeah, go ahead and send it, I'll watch it. When I came home at midnight, I'd been in Cincinnati, I'll never forget that night. Because you know what, once truth is exposed, you can't ever get away from it. I don't care if it's in religion, if it's in politics, if it's in business. Once you know something that's truth and fact and it's numbered, you got it. So when I put in that old VHS and turned that on that night, at that point in time, remember, I'm worried about my hair as a young, mid-age, I'll say by then. And I said, I watched that, and I had always used Paul Mitchell because I thought if you paid more for it, it was better product. That's just what you do. That's how you think, right? Well, that's what I had in my shower stall. When I saw the video that night and heard Tom Maurer back then talk about this, that the chemicals that's in the shampoos and the skincare and things that we're putting topically on our skin, when they're loaded with what we call carcinogens or cancer-causing ingredients, that's the what we call the harmful ingredients that we're dripping on our bodies every day. He said the thing that you're trying to preserve is the thing you're going to lose, and that was at that point in time. I mean, how many look in their showers and see all that hair in the shower stall that actually is engine degreaser and antifreeze that you're putting on your skin and in your hair? So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, the thing that we're fearing the most has come upon us type thing. So I ran upstairs, I said, well, I guarantee you Paul Mitchell doesn't have that in their products. So I ran upstairs, and one of the first ingredients on the Paul Mitchell, you guys go home tonight, check that out, but one of the first ingredients on the Paul Mitchell back then, now it's still in there, I don't know what line of sequence it's in, but it was propylene glycol and sodium lauryl sulfate. I thought, why would they do that? Why would the government let them put something in products? Well, when you find out that's grandfathered in, and those that came in under the grandfather, they get to keep that in there. So here I am using these products. I thought, oh, the next question is, with something that good, it's going to be very expensive. So I looked at that and realized it was concentrated, and you use pea size in the ingredients or the products. I realized then that's what I wanted. That was my journey on that day and that night at midnight with Tom Maurer's products. And since then, I've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s with the company. He's bought me 4 catalogs. He's buying the one I'm driving now because I car qualified. Not because I'm so good, because I'm fired up. I want people to know what I know and keep learning. So with that in mind, my husband's hot button was, if I have that here, my husband's hot button was, and he tells us all the time, is everybody brushes their teeth, hopefully. But Tom brought this out. Go look on your box of your toothpaste. Sometimes it's not on the tube, it's on the box that you throw away, and whoever reads ingredients on a toothpaste. And on this, it tells you, if swallowed, call the Poison Control Center. And if you're under 6, you need guidance. You need someone there with you. If that child swallows that, call the Poison Control. Why would we ever put something in and on us? And kids, Tom used to say back in those days, have you ever noticed how many kids are wearing glasses today? Just little kids. He says, think about the no-tear shampoos. They pride themselves, they can put all this soap in their eyes and not cry. And all they're doing is putting chemicals in their eyes and taking time and taking the development away and reducing what it could be for them. Now it's interesting, that same company that had the no-tear shampoo, they're the ones that have the best stock and the most money involved in selling these same kids the contact lenses because the kids' eyes are not good now. So think about that. They make money all the way through life on our ignorance. So I just refuse, as much as I can learn, there's hardly a day goes by that I'm not listening on something about a product or ingredient with the Sisel products. So when I found out that Tom had created the Sisel company, started over in Japan about almost 10 years ago now with 25,000 Japanese. What is it that they know that we don't, that we refuse? See, over there in the Asian countries, they hire a doctor to keep them well. If they get sick, they fire the doctor. Different way of thinking, isn't it? So that's what we're involved in tonight. I appreciate you coming, and DW is on fire with what we're doing. And I tell you what, all of us in this room, that unless you're a first-time guest, all of your lives have been affected by what DW has spoken into our lives. And so we don't worship men, but we sure are grateful and very thankful that he's come all the way from Denver, Colorado, giving up a week with his sweetie, and trying to get home. But he's going to be busy all week. We want to bring him on and let him tell you about these wonderful products. And let me just say this too on this issue. I was telling Faith tonight, her husband has a very good job, works very hard, leaves at 6 in the morning, doesn't get home till 6 at night. But I said, in this day and age, it just doesn't hurt to have a B plan or a backup plan, because things can go awry really quickly in this world. Amen? Amen. So I want DW to come. DW, his name is Dan, but we have to call him DW because there's so many Dans in the company. So he's identified with DW. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for such a wonderful opportunity. Well, let me say this, one more thing. Tim and Audrey were in my group in New Ways. And so we kept taking the products. I was on auto ship for 20-some years, just went off of it about 4 or 5 months ago. And Tim called me one day, he said, and he stayed on the products too. He said, Sue, he says, I don't think these products are the same since Tom's not with that company. Tom had sold the company through a divorce. It's a long story on that issue, then restarted. Sold the company for almost $1 billion. And I said, Tim, all I know is go find Tom, find out what he's doing, get your products from him. And so Tim, on his own, did his little research, found Tom Maurer, found the Sisel company, and it wasn't maybe a few months later, he and DW, 2 hours from me, happened to be in my neighborhood. Stopped in. And I told them that we are not interested, we're heading to Florida. That never happened either. And so be patient with people like Tim was with me and DW, and every once in a while Tim would just drop me a text. And I didn't pay a bit of attention to him, and he knew that, but just kind. And so now he and Audrey are my sponsors in this, and DW is my upline, and right now he's my mentor in learning as fast as I can learn. So thank you for coming, and DW, pour it on us, okay?
All right. Man, Sue, you just, she's right. What she said was a little bit of wisdom. Don't wait till you're thirsty to dig a well. All right? Does that kind of make sense?
Yes.
And so, opportunity comes, and it's going to knock, but it's not going to beat your door down. And so we're here just to throw something at you that's made a big impact in our lives. And I too, like Joe King, I was in 100% resistance when I got a phone call from Anthony's mom, Laura Baccini, out of Boston, Massachusetts. And her and I were best buds for a jillion years, and she called, and we caught up on some stuff, and I'd been to Australia for 3 years and just gotten back and been in town for a little while, and we were just going over some things. And she said, I want you to meet Tom Maurer. And I just went, and so I said, well, I have a lot of respect for Laura. And so I went, okay, I'll go meet Tom Maurer if I can work it out. Well, I worked it out, cleared some things up. Went early in the morning. He was going to do a meeting all day long. I didn't want to go to a meeting. I'd taught and trained and done meetings and all kinds of stuff worldwide, and I just was meeting out. So I was like, no, I'll meet him before the meeting, and we'll yak a little bit. So I sat down with Tom. Walked into the room, and here's what happens. We'll wreck all this display up here, so those that have had a fancy thing going, it's not going to last long. I walked in the room, and I looked over my shoulder. Tom walks up, he says, are you DW? And it's Daniel Whited, but he goes, are you DW? And I said, yes, I am. And he said, good to meet you. And I said, you're Tom? Yeah. And I looked over my shoulder. Now keep in mind, I've been hanging out with my son for just a little while. This was during Christmas break, and he was out of college, and so he's coming back. And I don't use this language or talk like this, as a rule. But I looked at Tom, multi-gazillionaire, which I'm not intimidated by money or status or celebritism, none of that stuff. But I just looked at him, I go, over my shoulder, and I seen these 3 bottles sitting there, and I go, dude, I don't do juices. Just like that. So not only was I even resistant, I was just a little bit stupid right then, okay? Because that was disrespectful. That wasn't honoring at all, and we want to create a culture of honor. But based on experience, what I've seen people do, and he goes, in Tom's country is cornflakes. I mean, he just looks like he dresses like he came off the Grand Ole Opry and sharp and just kind of Utah cowboy style, and he's just very honest. You won't wonder what he's thinking. He's going to tell you straight up what he knows to be a fact. And a lot of times he doesn't operate with opinions. He operates with some facts and stuff. And he looked at me and I couldn't back up a little bit. I'm just a farm boy from Kansas, so don't let the tie and soup fool you. All right, I'm right there with Tom as far as the whole 9 yards there. And he looks at me and he goes, well, those ain't juices. And that kind of got my attention because he said, ain't. I kind of like that. I thought, maybe I can relate to this guy, right? Anyway, that's what went in my head. He goes, those ain't juices. And he goes, they're medicinal, therapeutic nutraceuticals. Now, I was pulled out of a company and sent to Australia and put up as a vice president of sales and marketing of Australia. And they gave me a kind of an assignment to get done in a 6-year period. And with the Lord's help, we got it done in a 1.5 years because God can accelerate anything. I mean, like, boom, now. I mean, right. He's all over it. He's just waiting on us. We're never waiting on him. And so, but with that said, and I won't get to preaching that. And if I do, we won't take up an offering, okay? All right, so that. Okay, just check it. All right. And got more amens on not taking up the offering than I did on the preaching. What is going on with this group here? So we're yakking with Tom just a little bit, and he's telling me about the product. So I knew from where I was on the corporate side of a company, you can't make a claim like that unless you can back it up. And I'm telling you, we have experienced the fact that they're medicinal, therapeutic nutraceuticals. So we'll get into some of that. Some are familiar with New Ways and what Tom did back in the past. I remember sitting there and Sue was in Utah, and we want to give you an invitation to come to Utah as quick as you can. If you bought your ticket yesterday, you've been 2 years too late. I mean, it's kind of like, let's do it now. Dwayne's still waiting on you, brother. And to get that, because Marsha's ready. She's ready for a trip and a weekend with you, man.
That's right.
And so, just saying, a little pressure, okay? And this is on tape. Get that right there. So, with that said, we're there, and I hear Tom talking. He goes, what we did back then in New Ways, he goes, that was pretty spectacular. He goes, however, it's absolutely child's play compared to the technology and the ingredients and the advancements in nutrition as to what we have right now. And he just began to tell us, even 5 years ago when he started Sisel, so we're in our 9th year right now, and they've been doing things in the U.S. for about 4 years. And Joe and I have been teaming up and doing some things for it'll be 3 years. Really, next February is when we kick things into gear, but 3 years in December when we started getting knowledge and understanding what we have our hands on. And so it's very interesting to kind of just wrap your brains around what's going on when it comes to the technology side of nutraceuticals. Tom now has, just to throw a couple things at you, he now has a 440,000 square foot manufacturing facility. He manufactures for 40 other companies and produces products for them as well, based on what they ask him to build, just like a carpenter would do a house for someone. Well, what kind of house do you want? Then he has his Sisel company, which is his baby, and there he gets to build the most extreme, radical products that can move in and make a change in your life that you can get your hands on. The potency of everything that he has is off the charts crazy. And here's what's kind of fun. I'm looking for a Sisel Safe brochure. If we can find one, Anthony, somewhere, or whatever, we'll be glad to. We got them everywhere. I just didn't bring them in. So, and they're in the back. But what we have, do you have one here? Okay, almost one. All right, so, yeah, when Tom, it's okay. Yeah, that's a good one. We'll do it later. When Tom, they got one. They'll pull my bag out and pull one out, so it's no big deal. So when Tom kicked things into gear and he started putting this thing together, he wanted to go ahead and do some stuff for everybody else. But what he's done is, we're not going to ask you to trust us. I'm going to ask you to test us. Because I didn't trust him, I tested him as well. And Tom loves that. We want you to test what we got our hands on. We want you to test what we're doing. We want you to just wrap your brains around and just give it a go and find out. And so Tom has the same philosophy. All right? And how he got started is pretty simple. He just, here again, he put things into gear when he's 73 years old about right now. And when he kicked things into gear after high school, when he tested out to be one of the #1 science guys on the planet at that particular time frame. And so what took place there is he was rated up here science guy, so he became a scientist. And then he went on and became a biochemist. And when he was 30 years old, he said God convicted him to get out of debt, so he did. Took him about 4 years to clear all debt. I mean, mortgage, everything, boom, gone. And so that's kind of a philosophy that he has. And so he got out of debt, and he started doing some industrial, and Sue knows the story, she lived the story as well as anybody in the room, and knows it inside out. But what he did was he started doing some industrial chemicals. And one of the industrial chemicals they did was a floor wax, and he made a degreaser. In the process of making that floor wax and making that degreaser, it was mandatory that he put on a hazard material suit in order to handle the hazard materials that is being injected into the floor wax, which once mixed and sealed, that hazard material would be sealed in, so once it's on the floor, it wouldn't get on your body, wouldn't hurt or harm you. He also, the same thing with the degreaser. And so they come into him one day, and here he is, he's in his 30s, and they said, Tom, you ever thought about doing personal care products? You know, like some stuff at home, you know, lotions and potions and just personal care stuff. And he goes, never have. And if you know Tom, it's the way he talks, suppose it could. Have to think on it. So he goes home that night. Now you think a biochemist and a science guy, I mean, you think he might have already done this by now, but he didn't. So he goes home and he reaches over and he grabs the shampoo bottle and he begins to read the shampoo, thank you very much. He begins to read the shampoo bottle, and he goes down here, and some of the ingredients that he's reading, all of a sudden smoke starts coming out of his ears. I mean, he's getting all kinds of mad and frustrated with what he's seeing. And one of the things, and here again, Sue's phenomenal training on this stuff, but one of the products was sodium lauryl sulfate, okay? Which is one of the same hazard materials that he had to put on a hazard material suit in order to handle, is in the shampoo. He reaches over and grabs the conditioner, and it's in the conditioner. He grabs the toothpaste, it's in the toothpaste. It's in the mouthwash. It's in the dishwashing liquid. It's in the laundry detergent. It's in all of his wife's lotions and potions that she had. Every single thing in the house, he's sitting there and seeing raw hazard material that's not sealed in, that is exposed and open to your pores and things. And so he couldn't believe it. I mean, he's shocked. He goes back to the office. He calls up the supplier, and he mentioned, you know, about 4 different products, 4 different ingredients. And he goes, that sodium lauryl sulfate and some of the others, he goes, is that the same sodium lauryl sulfate that I'm using? Is that in the shampoo? They goes, yeah, same thing, Tom. He goes, but is it the same stuff that I'm using? He goes, it's the same thing, Tom. And he again asks him, he goes, you can't be the same potency. He goes, Tom, it's the exact same thing. You're getting yours by the 5-gallon drums, they're getting theirs by the semi-truckloads. And he could not believe it. Because, you know, and here again, guys, some people go, well, I don't know that your body really will absorb all that stuff. Well, do this. Go somewhere where you go out to eat, order a glass of water, and you can smell the chlorine, you can smell the fluoride, you can just, the whole bit. And before you drink it or anything, you might want to clean your finger first or wash your hands or whatever. But just go ahead and stick your finger in that glass for about 60 seconds and leave it. All right? Then take it out, and then taste the water, and you won't taste any of that junk because your body just absorbed everything in and went, sucked it right in. The pores, the skin, is designed to absorb stuff. And this is why Tom was so upset. He knew the absorbability. And here we're taking sodium lauryl sulfate. And what's the other one that starts with a P you talk about? Yeah, propylene glycol. I mean, you shouldn't say something if you can't spell it, so I don't even say it. All right? And, you know, it sounds like a real fancy pizza or something. Yeah, it's a propylene glycol pizza. I mean, so Tom has this stuff, and he looks at it, and he's furious. He's ticked, okay? And he's got like, 4 or 5 kids at this time, so he comes home. The next day he's kind of like, where you have 4 or 5 kids, every day's laundry day. I was raised in a family of 6, and they were always doing laundry. It wasn't like a laundry day, it was like laundry week, And he took Sundays off, and that's it. That's for fried chicken and family. But anyways, so what happened, Tom comes in, and he takes a big bag, and he takes every single thing out of the house, and he throws it away. Every single thing out of the house. No longer was he going to put his family in a position where they were going to massage cancerous toxin-causing agents into his pores, into his skin, and the whole 9 yards. A few years ago, the Wall Street Journal came out with an article talking about shame on shampoos and shame on Johnson & Johnson and what they were doing with their baby shampoo. And back then they promised in 2013 they would take every single toxic ingredient out of their baby shampoo. They promised they'd do it. And to this day they haven't made one move, haven't changed one single thing. And there's an agent in that shampoo. They talk about it's tear-free and all that stuff. Well, sure it is. Because it goes in there and sends some little deal and goes, and just shocks your little eyes and numbs them so they won't feel the shampoo so you won't have to cry over it. Well, that numbing agent also messes with the ability to see colors. And it used to be about 1 out of 40 kids would wear glasses. Now you're talking about, 3 out of 5. In some areas, 4 out of 5 are wearing glasses. Well, the same company, Johnson & Johnson's, guess what their number one of industry is right now? They make contact lenses. I mean, you talk about brilliant marketing. We're going to kill your eyes when you're a baby, and we're going to help you fix it when you get older. I mean, that is just horrid. That's just not right, but that's what's going on. And that's not who we are. So when we talk about we want you to test us and not trust us, we mean it. And we have an entire system here. I used to tell everybody, take everything and put it on your kitchen table and look at it. Just grab 3 or 4 products. Grab your toothpaste. Grab your mouthwash. And grab your shampoo and just set it on the kitchen table and sit down with your spouse and read through some of the stuff. It'll kind of explain, what's toxic and what isn't. And go to this page right here. Open this little rascal up, and we'll make sure you get one of these. It's one of the best brochures, one of the best educational tools you'll ever want to get your hands on. And just go through this and see what's in what you're using. And they've gotten kind of tricky, try to rename things. Okay, so they get kind of interesting how they rename stuff so that you won't know what it is. Well, they can run, but they can't hide because we know what they're doing. And it's just to fool the consumers. Guys, people are waking up. You would not believe how many doctors are coming on board and being a part of what we're doing because they're sick and tired of giving narcotic and drugs and synthetic medications and are looking at the research site. I had just yesterday, the guys were in the car with me, had a doctor call that they asked me to come to Arizona, so I flew to Arizona on my nickel and dime and spent an afternoon with I think it's probably about 10 doctors in the room and 3 or 4 surgeons, and one guy was the #1 research guy from Arizona State University, and we spent time with these guys, and we talked about just this product right here, just for Coit. Remember I said, hey dude, I don't do juices. You talk about having a stupid attack, all right? But everyone has stupid attacks, all right? But I didn't get stuck on stupid. Does that make sense? It's fine to have one, just don't get stuck there. Now, does anybody here know the difference between dumb and stupid? I mean, seriously, there is a difference. Everyone's kind of like dumb, not so good at something. I mean, it might be like, rocket scientists, it might be computers, it might be underwater basket weaving. We're all kind of dumb at something, all right? Underwater basket. One person got it right here. All right, was it Cookie, is that right?
Yes.
She got it, all right? And, but now dumb is really when you go do something that you're stupid at, all right? Or stupid is you go do something you're dumb at, sorry. Stupid is you do something you're dumb at, all right? And so what's neat about this product is, it's a life changer. And these research guys looked at the research behind this, not what Sisel has to say about it, not what my opinion is, not even what some of my experiences are. They looked at the studies that have been done on every little ingredient that's in here. So I have people come up, have you done one of them triple, quadruple blind studies on your product? Well, we kind of went a little further. There's research and studies done on every single ingredient that's in what we have. It's way beyond what you could even imagine. And this is why they're going nuts on this. And I won't tell you what's in this quite yet, but we will start with that. So what Tom did, he threw everything out of the house. his wife says, "Are you kidding me? What do you think you're doing?" And he just explained to her, "This is cancerous," and yada, yada, yada. I mean, back then, it's just, back then when you start talking that kind of language, people thought your butter done slipped off the biscuit, like you lost it, like something is really wrong with you. And so Tom got rid of it all. She says, "What am I going to do tomorrow's laundry?" And he goes, "Real simple. I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm going to go back and I'll build us a product." So he went back and he built them a laundry detergent. Then he built a shampoo for his family. And then he put together a toothpaste, and he put together some mouthwash. And he went on, and he put together everything in the house and replaced it, and they were happy, and the word got out to one or two of the neighbors, and they said, "Well, yeah, can we get some?" And Tom's like, "I will get you some." And so he got them some, and then the word got out again. And then finally, one of those multi-level company guys came along and said, "Hey, we'd like to sell your stuff, Tom. Can we do that?" And he's like, "Well, suppose you could." And so he starts putting it together, and they sell it, and then they start lying and making claims about it, so he pulls the product from it. Then he tries, you talk about being burned by networking and MLM or whatever, and trust me, if you're in resistance to what we're doing today and someone brought you kicking and screaming, I understand that. I totally understand that, all right? But I'm just going to share something with you real quick today. We have changed, and Tom Maurer has changed the way we do everything. All right? Things have changed, and we do things completely different. And we talk about a culture of honor and respect, we have it right here, and we do things different. It looks a lot like some of the things, but still different. And so Tom goes in there, and he builds his stuff, and he sends it to another company, he pulls out. Finally, he just starts his own deal, because everyone else is just, lying and cheating and doing things, and it just didn't work out for him. So he just did his own company. And what he started with was just to put you in a position to where you no longer are going to bathe and saturate and solidify and submerge yourself in toxicity and toxins. Every single product we have is to keep toxins off your body. And really, one of the best experts on that really is Sue. I've heard her talk several times, and every time, she talked about how you should brush your teeth the other day, and I went, "What do you mean how you brush your teeth? Just like put junk on it." I went and bought one of them fancy things that does that, so they does the brushing for me. Talk about lazy. And, the Philip Sonic things, whatever they call those things, I don't know, it's a good deal at Costco. You should never go into Costco's, I'm just saying right now. They get me every time with their gizmos and stuff. And but she's talking about how you brush your teeth, with our toxin-free toothpaste. Our toothpaste isn't just toothpaste, it's something that heals up the gums. Let me tell you, one of my first experiences with the toothpaste is this. I got a son-in-law. You know how son-in-laws, and sometimes some son-in-laws are about sharp as a bowling ball. But this guy's a pretty sharp fella. And, he's one, Mikey, you're one of the good guys, okay? And, but he had a real bad fever when he was just a little feller, just a little bitty feller, and so bad that it burned out his roots on his teeth. So there was like no need for a canal because there wasn't hardly any roots. And so it just was little short roots on his teeth. And the doctor said, before you're 30 years old, you're not going to have any teeth. It's just the way it is. Sorry about your luck. You're messed up for life. And so, what he did was, he thought, well, I'm going to beat the odds on that. So he went out and bought the most high-powered toothpaste you could buy, and those high-powered mouthwash you can buy. And he started scrubbing on his teeth, 5 to 6 times a day, throwing mouthwash on it, several times a day. And guess what he was putting on there? All that toxicity. Mm-hmm. I go in and I learn about this stuff, okay? So now I went from, 0 to hero because I have some knowledge. And I walk in there and I look at their bathroom, and he has his toothbrush and toothpaste even set up in the shower, plus one by the sink, because wherever he's at, he's going to be brushing and working on his teeth, so he doesn't want to lose them all. It's just something you kind of want to keep. And so I go in there, and he has this big, huge, he has a bottle of Scope and a bottle of Listerine, and it's a little bit more high-powered than the traditional bottles, but you can get them from the pharmacist, and he has it. And on the box, it has a big, huge triangle with a skull in the middle of it, with 2 red things, and said, if swallowed, call poison control immediately. And I looked at this and I said, dude, are you kidding me? I said, we're going to get you some Terminator stuff. And this guy, he keeps track of his nickels and dimes. He said, once I use that up, he said, then we'll start with the stuff you're talking about. I said, you don't know who you're talking to. This is Granddaddy here. And I want to enjoy my grandkids, not raise them. So we're going to get this stuff that's killing you, we're getting it out of here. I want you to do the raising, I get to do the spoiling, okay? And in other words, I want you to live longer. And so I got rid of everything in the house, replaced it with this stuff here immediately, and it just was a blessing to him in that regards. He goes to the dentist. The dentist says, what are you doing? He said, your gums are getting stronger, your teeth are tightening up. He goes, this is not supposed to be happening. And he explained to him, well, I'm using this, and the whole 9 yards. Probably about a year later, his mama gets has to have a pacemaker thing put in her heart, and is having all kinds of heart troubles. And the dentist goes, and the doctor said it again to her, and he said, your dentist will validate this. So a lot of them don't tell you what they really know. They're just not going to tell you. They just won't. And I won't go to my reasons why, but they just won't tell you. But this doctor said, now that you have this in, never, ever, ever, ever again can you use any kind of normal toothpaste or any kind of mouthwash. It has toxins and poisons that will leach down, drip down, and basically start destroying the heart, period. Wow. And so she got a hold of this stuff, and the same thing, the dentist and doctor said, what are you doing? And, because what we have our hands on, even with our mouthwash that we have here, this stuff's powerful. I mean, it's absolutely powerful. This stuff is, what it does, it has ingredients that heals up the skin. I mean, God put you in pretty good order that if you cut your finger, you're just automatically going to start healing. All right? You cut your finger, it's going to start clotting and start healing itself up. So you already got like healing power in you, whether you know it or not. It's there. This just adds to what's already there. So that's why I love it. Because one thing we believe in, if this offends you, well, sorry about your luck. Here we go. We believe in prayer and products. Just the way I run. Okay? And if you like it, cool. I'm praying for you whether you like it or not. That's my decision. So because we believe in this, we believe faith without works is what? Yeah. So faith is the prayer part, correct? What's the work part? What's the work part? Nobody knows because no one's really doing the work because we don't want to work our way to heaven. So we got that down. But the works is where we do everything we can within our power to do the right things and make the smart decisions over what's going on us and in us and through us. And so this is why I love the products. I absolutely love it. So this product right here, we heard some stuff last night. So Amanda talks about, we got a call from Amanda, and she's down in Lagodi, Indiana. Odin actually is the closest town to where they live. And she calls me up and she said, my son Gary, and I think, what's Gary, 12 years old? Something like that?
Yeah.
Little Gary's 12 years old. It's the beginning of this summer. And they said Gary's having no trouble with all these polyps and these growths in his nose. Matter of fact, one is so big, it's like a big old finger hanging down through his throat, going down into his throat. Now think about that. I mean, think about something getting caught in your throat. How'd you like to have something just kind of dangling in there and it's a growth going? I mean, that's gross. That just make you, I want to say gags, I won't say that, but, what, Tim, you all right? All right, just check. So, what happens with this, she calls us, what are we going to do? And it was just so funny, she's telling the story, and I'm sitting with Tom Maurer on the front row, and he's doing some research and looking at things while she's talking, and he goes, well, you better use Terminator. And she goes, well, I called DW, and he said to take some Terminator and take a saline solution bottle, throw out the solution, put the Terminator in there, and start spraying it up his nose, 2 or 3 times a day. And she thought, well, that is the craziest thing I've ever heard of. And she goes, but they've already done 2 big surgeries on this young boy. And the doctor goes, all right, surgery number 1, let's go, that'll get it. They do surgery number 1, didn't work. Okay, well, since that didn't work, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let's go do surgery number 2. Are you kidding me? So they do surgery number 2. Get them all prepped, do it the whole bit. Comes out of surgery number 2. A few months later, didn't work. Oh, I got the answer. The doc says, let's do another surgery. I mean, how many times you got to slice and dice on someone before you realize that, hey, woo, man, let's change things. So she felt scared to go against the doctor's wishes, and but she also wanted to honor something different and new, and so she did. She took her son and said, we're going to take a different approach. And she started blasting this stuff up his nose for 2 or 3 weeks and took him to the doctor, didn't say a word what she was doing, scared to say a word, walks into the doctor, and the doctor looks at him and said, oh my goodness, there's absolutely zero drainage. She always everything's just draining and draining and draining all the time down this young man's throat. And she goes, those polyps about cleared up. There's one more that needs a little bit of work on it, but this, so I guess that stuff we're doing is working. She goes, well, doc, I got to tell you something. I didn't want to not tell you this, but I don't want to tell you this, but I didn't do what you told me. Because they had this bunch of junk they wanted to spray up his nose and steroids and salts and all kinds of crazy stuff, and it just wasn't working again. And she goes, we took this product, this mouthwash called Terminator, and we started misting it up his nose. And his polyps are gone. And now the little feller's, with prayer and products, with some works, this little guy's doing so much better, and they just can't believe it. I mean, that whole area's like, are you kidding me? And we've seen people that have things wrong with their skin and going on, and this is something you can just, this also comes, I guess I should have brought my bag in, because we have a little bitty bottle. Yeah, you can grab it. We got a little bitty bottle of this too, that comes with a little spray thing. So if you got something going on in your skin or acne or something like that, this is going to go get the fungus and stuff out. And so this is just an amazing, amazing product that is just a mouthwash. You're going through acid reflux. Just let about a cap of this slowly throw it to the back of your throat and just let it slowly drain down your throat real slow. And it'll begin to heal the whole tract. I mean, if you took a picture of your tract, those that are going through acid reflux, you'll see like a pill tract through there, because a lot of people are taking pills and stuff, and like a pill tract going down there, and it just starts healing it up. And this has the properties in it to heal up the skin. And so it's for exterior and interior of what's going on with you. You get the flu, you get sick, you feel like you're going to get sick and throw up. Throw some of this on it. It goes and annihilates and kills some of the bacteria and funguses that's going on. This is a phenomenal, off the charts, crazy product. There's a couple things. If you don't listen to anything we say tonight, jump on the shampoo and conditioner. I mean, a lot of people says, I mean, how many here would just, drive down the road and all of a sudden you look over there and there's this big truck with all these red things on it and it says hazard material. Who would pull in front of that guy and throw your flashers on and wave your arms down and pull that truck over and then run in there and go, all right, here, give me a glass of some toxic stuff? Who would do that? Nobody. But when we walk in the aisles of the superstores and the Walmarts and all the places that we go and the Targets and the Costco's, that's what we're doing. We're loading ourselves with toxins, and guess what? Most of us, we just don't really know it. We don't wake up one day and say, woo, let me see how many toxins I can take. We don't do that. We're trusting the guys that make them. Well, the guys that make them, there's other agendas behind things, possibly not. I'm not going to debate that. I just know this will kill you and this won't. Okay? It's just that simple. Continue to use what kills you. I'm going to love you anyways. All right? I'm going to pray for that you don't stay stuck on stupid, but I'm still going to love you. That was a little harsh. Toothpaste, same way. I mean, this is just phenomenal. A little dab will do you on this toothpaste, and we learned from Sue that you take your brush instead of getting it all wet and everything like you normally do, which will dilute the product maybe just a little bit. Do it in full form on a dry brush, and with the little thing I use, I put it all through there. Then I turn the power thing on and just go and just have a blast, and just brush away. And then when you're done, yeah, that's it. Bring it on, brother. And then just spit some out a little bit. What's in there, and then you take the mouthwash and you start rinsing and doing your thing with the mouthwash. And so it's it's pretty cool. So just showing you what we have here. You can just what's neat is you can put a videotape on me 24/7 and see what I do, and you're gonna find out. So I take this stuff with me, and this goes down the road. And so you got a skin problem somewhere, a little acne, a little something like that. Use what we have going on here. This is just a little bottle, just a little thing that you just kind of hit the road with, and that's pretty good. And you want to pass that around or anything? You ready? Okay. Another thing we have that I wanted to get into that's kind of cool, that Tom put together. All right, there's a big debate in America about whether you should do 100% organic or just go get stuff at the store and just whatever happens, happens. So Tom just doesn't care. Whichever way you are, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We have a product called Organic Cleanse, and this is another phenomenal, off-the-charts, crazy good products. I wish that we'll do it next time. So just remind me, and we'll just swip by and make sure it happens. But you get some red grapes, for an example, and take these red grapes. And did we do this in Pennsylvania? I can't remember if we did or not. If we did, we didn't tell you about it, okay? And we've done it a few times. But you take the red grapes and just rinse them like you normally rinse them. And take a bite and eat them. And then you take another, off the same stem, take another set of red grapes and just rinse them. And then you're going to put them in a little bowl, and you're going to take about a cap of this Organic Cleanse. And then you take your grapes and you put it down there and swash it around for about 3 minutes and just let it soak. And when you pull it out, the gunk that's in the water will just, these are grapes that you would normally, they're already ready to eat. Okay? Already ready to eat. So you just, you put them in water, swash them around, just let them sit there for a while. And then take them out, rinse them off again, and eat them. And the difference in taste is the difference between night and day. I mean, those grapes come alive. They pop. That freshness comes out. Because whatever wax and stuff is put on them is washed away. If it's all organic, whatever little wormies and junk, you know, is washed away. If they're not organic, all the pesticides that they sprayed on to keep the wormies away, you know, it's washed away. It's gone. You can wash your vegetables. You can wash your fruit. You could. Dee, it's good to see you. I didn't get to say hi to you earlier. We've been talking to these guys for a while, so sorry about that. You popped right in my face. So there we go. And so what happens is you wash everything away, and you do the same thing. You do your meats the same way. You can wash your meat off. If you knew what was on your meat and some of the stuff, now you don't bring everything home and wash it. You try to wash it about 15, 20, 30 minutes before you eat it, because it will strip everything off, and that stuff will begin to disintegrate fast. And so, you know, so it's just kind of one of those things that Tom has done that is a game changer when it comes to preparing and cooking. And so my buddy him and his wife just bought a new restaurant. And we got a lot of coffee stuff, and then maybe Anthony will touch on that in just a little bit. But we have things that just really help there. So you get into that. So Tom has several things that help you. This is another thing you'd want to get if you just bought a couple things here, just kind of got started with the shampoo and conditioner, toothpaste, mouthwash, and the laundry detergent. This is pretty cool stuff. Miss Helen's going to college right now and going to school of ministry, or she probably, I'd have her on the phone, let her talk to you about this, but she loves to do laundry, and she loves this. Loves it, loves it, loves it, loves it. No toxins, no fillers, no floaters, no chemicals, no hazard materials in this product whatsoever. So you're either wearing clothes or sleeping in or on sheets, 24 hours a day. And what you're putting on your clothes is going to rub off and get into your body. It's just the way it is. And so this is absolutely fantastic. Remember I told you about Mikey, my son-in-law. Awesome feller. Well, their oldest daughter, okay? Her name's Alexia. And Alexia was breaking out on whatever she would wear. No matter what they washed in, she'd break out like crazy. And she was not allowed to, she couldn't even, shampoos, everything was breaking her out. So we come along just in time to say, hey, give this a go. This does not break her out. She never had, she lived a lot, it doesn't sound like no big deal, but when you're a little kid, kind of having a bubble bath is kind of a fun. She could never do a bubble bath. And I remember Danielle Lee coming from Denver, going to Kansas City, where Daisha Jean lives, and Mikey. And she goes, I'm going to take Lexia, and she's going to have her first bubble bath. And her mom's like, oh no, this is going to be a disaster. Come on, Dad knows what he's doing. Let's just give this a go. We have bubble bath. I don't know if it's here or not, but we got some bubble bath for the kids and stuff. She filled that bathtub up, and she put all that bubble bath in there and threw that little princess in there, and she was so excited to get to take her first bubble bath. She was jumping, I'm going to take a bubble bath. It's no big deal to y'all, but when it's your first one and you're just a little, little fry, it's kind of a big deal. Nothing happened. Okay, except she had a blast, and she now does bubble baths as often as she wants, uses our shampoo and conditioner, the whole 9 yards with everything that we have here. And then they were going through allergies real bad. The same kids, right? Just going through some allergies. And so we got on some other products, and boom, cleared things up for them. It's been a game changer, just in my own personal family. And once you've been exposed to what we're doing, I think that I feel it's an honor to get to share with you what we're doing. I feel it's a privilege to stop and say, Wayne, we got something that's making a difference. And I just feel, I'm not like trying to get you into something. You don't need that. You don't need that in your life. I'm trying to show you something that is a game changer and life changer for your quality of life that you live in. So we want to put you in a position to where you no longer are putting any kind of toxins on your body whatsoever. And if you have something you kind of want me to touch on, hit on, or just raise your hand or whatever, just let me know, Sue, kind of what's going on. But otherwise, I'm going to proceed. Okay. You're an honest person. I didn't know if you were going to keep that or not. Not just teasing.
I was thinking about it.
And so if I had another one, I'd let you have her. And those things aren't that expensive, and it's just kind of fun to have, and boom. So you use it as as directed, which is, it will say on there, don't swallow. Tom, the FDA makes Tom put that on the bottle. A little baby can drink that entire Terminator. It's not going to hurt him at all. So every one of our products, it's safe. Sisel Safe isn't a slogan. It's a promise. It's a promise. It means there's no toxins, there's no hazard materials, there's no contaminants, there's no fillers, floaters. there's nothing that's going to harm your body. It's going to help bring life to you instead of the taking you out of this planet. So Tom moved from that, and here again we have a lot of stuff that you can do. You know, stuff that can, you know, wash your hands in and the whole nine yards there, keeping your hands clean. And then he moved into a little more advanced technology, and he started to work on things that get toxins out of your body, just extract them out of your body. And I've had people tell me, say, well, I'm really healthy, I don't have any of that stuff in my body, and I feel like, oh man, I hope we can get this guy, because he's stuck on stupid, I hope we can bring him forward. And I got to thinking about how to explain it, and has anyone here in the room ever replaced your filter in your air conditioning or heating unit in your home? Was it pure clean, or did it have some gunk in it? Wayne? Had some gunk. He didn't want to admit it, but had some gunk in it, right? How about the filter on your automobile? You ever replace that? It can get gunky from time to time. You need to just, every other oil change, give it a go and blow it out or change it. Well, when in your house, and you take your filter, when you suck in air and go, you're sucking air at a faster velocity than what your cold air return is sucking in air. And so all that dirt that's in that filter, where did it come from? The air. And what air are you breathing into yourself? Same air. And let me ask you this, how you getting, where's your filter? How you getting that junk out? Don't know. You're not. It's probably getting stuck in your joints, your brain, you're everywhere. I mean, it's crazy what happens. The toxins, it's absolutely shocking, the massive amounts of heavy metals that are in someone's body. So Tom started working on some of these things that get toxins out of your body. And we're going to get into the thing that I have fun with, because this is something that I made the most fun of him about, was these 3 bottles. And he enjoyed every minute of that. Because we sat down and we talked for 2 hours before his meeting started. And Tom said, you know, he said, I've been through some really tough stuff in life. He goes, would you like to hear about it? And I said, no, I wouldn't. I want to know where you're at and where you're headed. He said, well, you got no Tom. He goes, well, I'm telling you anyways. And he shared some stuff that he went through, and Sue mentioned a couple things. This guy was knocked down and knocked out. But he looked up and he goes, what do you want to do with me now? That was his prayer. And he goes, he didn't have enough money. He could have bought an island, and they could have fed him bonbons, and he rode around a little bike and been the king of the island if he wanted to. But he goes, God put me on this planet to locate ingredients and nutrition to bring it to the masses. He goes, that's my mission. And he has a talent. Tom's idea of a perfect day is to read research papers from early in the morning till late at night. That's his idea of a perfect day. I'd rather watch paint dry. I mean, that would be more exciting than have to be, that is miserable. But because he has that, and he does that, we now have it, can do, and can go, and can be, and we can make an impact in people's life with prayer and products. And so it's just a massive thing that takes place. So what he started putting together, and some of these will cross over. Some of you that knew some of the new age products and things, they'll kind of cross over a little bit. But he put some products together, and I'll kind of start with this one a little bit. This is called Spectromax. And a couple of things that's kind of neat. He has the bottles that are specially treated, so the toxins that a lot of plastic have toxins in them, and the stuff that's toxic in the plastic, he had these developed and made. It's kind of a funny story. He had developed and made and had them vacuumed and out. It's a certain process that they do to get them out. It's very rare that you ever find a bottle. Most bottles are numbered. It's a 3, it's a 5, it's a 2, it's a 1. Well, you can't have that one. They're all bad. It just means one's going to go toxic on you a little bit faster than the other. That's all the numbers mean. They're all toxic, okay? His are not. He went to the manufacturer and said, I want these bottles made a certain way, and there's a process you can do that will make them so the toxins that, because this is petroleum, and that's about as toxic as you can get. He said, so it doesn't leach into what what's the ingredients that's inside here. And he'd love to do all these in pills, but he can't get it in pill form to get on a cellular level and maximum potency, so he has to do it like he's doing it. It's just, trust me, when you see, he's got 3 major manufacturing labs. He put $100 million cash down in order to build this place. Tom's old-fashioned. He did it the old-fashioned way. Faith, he walked up to the guy and he said, can you do this for $100 million cash? The guy says, well, yeah, I can. And he goes, great, let's do it then. The guy goes, good. Let me go get my lawyers and get the contracts and we'll get everything signed. He said, lawyers? He said, oh. He said, so you don't trust me? The guy goes, Tom, I've known you forever. Yeah, I trust you. Everybody trusts you. He goes, oh, okay, good. He goes, well, then you probably think that I don't trust you. He goes, well, I hope you trust me. He goes, then why do we need lawyers? He said, why don't you just look me in the eye and tell me what you're going to do. I'll look you in the eye and tell you what I'm going to do. And let's shake hands on it, and let's get it done. And they shook hands on a multi-million-dollar building and got it built, and there was no glitches, no problem, because 2 men walked in honor, 2 men walked in integrity, 2 men changed the game on how you do things now. And so it's just neat. Some of those stories, because I say that to say this, how you do anything is pretty much, honestly, how you end up doing everything. Whew, that's not fun to know. When I first discovered that, it messed my life up for a while. I had to start evaluating how I was doing just anything. And it took everything to another level, because I knew how I wanted to really do stuff. And so Tom's the same way. We're always trying to take things to another level. Sue operates with excellence. Absolute excellence. She could be tempted to move into perfection mode, but she doesn't allow that to overtake her. She operates with excellence. When she does something, she does it with as much excellence as she can. When you do things with, as you become a perfectionist and do it that way, people will run from you. When you do it with excellence, they run to you. They have hope that they can probably duplicate and do some of the same things. That's why a partnership with Tim and Audrey and with Dennis and Sue is just a joy for me. I mean, this is a joy. And because we think alike, we speak alike, we understand some of the same things. Well, Tom's the same way. He does things with as much excellence as he possibly can. And I'm going to show you, how affordable his products are. Everything, because how you do anything is how you do what? Everything. So affordability, just on products, the power of pricing on products. This product's kind of dear to my heart because being a farm boy from Kansas, now I told you I was raised in Kansas on a farm. I mean, I understand Kansas is like, God started creating this planet in Colorado, and then when he got done, he finished in Kansas. So I can't do better than that, any better than that, I'm done. He finished there. I was going, woo, done. But Kansas, I mean, I understand Kansas is flat. I mean, you drop a marble on Kansas, it don't go nowhere. I mean, it's like, you drop one around hill, it rolls up hills and down stuff. And not in Kansas, man. Matter of fact, MIT did a study on how flat a pancake was versus how flat Kansas was. And actually, Kansas is flatter when you just measure it out. It's flatter than a pancake. People used to tease it. It really is. It's pretty cool, isn't it? We're famous now. We're famous for being flatheads. All right. Not fatheads. I didn't say that. No, I know what you're doing, bro. I've seen your eyebrows flying around there. And so, and I tell you how flat it is. I mean, seriously, I share this with people. And Sharon, you heard this first time I talked one time, but when it's so flat that when I was 6 years old, my dog ran away. 3 days later, I could still see it running. That's flat, baby. So, a little delayed reaction, but anyway, what happens, now I say that because now we're going to get into something here, because there's some essential things that you need in your body. Essential means mandatory. It means that it's imperative for your physical survival, for everything to be operating at an optimal level that they're in your life. So trace minerals, essential trace minerals, are essential. It really means they're imperative. Gotta have them in your life. It's not negotiable. It's just not. It's not up for debate. Do I really need those? Let me think about it. Can I think about No, you need them. Okay, they're essential. This product right here, 74 essential trace minerals to the maximum potency and to the purest, the purity that you could possibly get are right here in this bottle. Okay, well, they're gone because they're empty, but a new one, they're in there. That's pretty cool. And you'll find some companies that'll give you some trace minerals, Wayne, maybe 5, 6, 7, and they'll charge you, $80, $90 for them. And they're not, they're not the potency that what we have our hands on, but you can get them. This right here, we're talking about 74 major trace minerals, essential trace minerals, right here in this. 74. Now, you understand, being a farm boy, Grandma and Grandpa, they could eat biscuits and gravy, right? And they would eat biscuits all the time, and they didn't get big like a doughboy where you stick them in the belly. Woo! I mean, they're just pretty good shape. Because back in the day, wheat used to have 40% protein in it. Now wheat's down to less than 7, 8% protein in it. No wonder we're getting chubby boy off eating wheat and all that kind of stuff. And things have changed. It's different. Topsoil used to be 3 foot of topsoil. Now we're down to 8 inches of topsoil. So the essential minerals that are supposed to come up through our fruits and vegetables, they taste the same. They've mastered where they look the same, and and everything just looks. They're not the same. I mean, iron. Here again, 60-some% iron used to be in spinach and stuff. It's not anymore. you're back down to the same numbers. 7-8% is in spinach of iron. The rest of it's gone because it's not coming out of the ground because we're not getting the trace minerals to build the iron up. Well, you get them right here. And so then this has something really cool because this is what got my attention. All right, it has also 40 major antioxidants in this bottle. And this is what interested me with Tom, because the first thing I asked him, I said, Tom, well, I'm pretty fired up about these OPC3s and a product like that. I said, it's done a lot of good for me because it helps with autoimmune diseases and stuff. And he goes, oh, OPCs, which stands for oligomeric paranthocyanidins, and they come with a pycnogenol that really just zaps the body and helps you overcome and get through, all kinds of challenges like allergies and so forth. And he goes, well, this bottle here, he said it has all 3 OPC3s in it, all 3 OPCs in it, in other words. And I said, what? He goes, yours has how many OPCs? And I said, well, it's OPC3, which means oligomeric paranthocyanin. And he goes, yeah, but that's just one OPC. He said, does it have, he goes, I know the company, he was baiting me a little bit. He goes, I know your company you're talking about. They only have one OPC which takes care of this variance or this list of problems. He goes, in this we have that one. He goes, then over here we have another OPC that takes care of this list of problems, and then we have another one that takes care of this list of problems, plus we have 2 pycnogenals in it, and we put all that together, and we only call it one antioxidant. And the other company was selling their big, huge deal for like $70, and and Tom had all 3, and so it's crazy. So let's finish about the power of the pricing. If you were going to try to heal somebody up of cancer, one of the things you'd want to do, there's a lot of books on it, is it's called the color chart. And so you would go to a farmer's market and you'd buy every fruit and every vegetable that had a little bit of variance in coloration, and you would take that home and you would snag a little slice of it, and you would have a slice of every fruit and every vegetable that particular day. Would give you a pretty good chance of having a battle and maybe possibly winning the battle against some cancers. Well, in here, this has 40 major antioxidants. It has every variance of every fruit and every vegetable. And on the color chart, it has every single thing on the color chart when it comes to the different colorings of antioxidants that needs to help you to have a fighting chance against something that's going to tear your cells to pieces. Mm-hmm. This is a big deal. So it has 74 major trace minerals. It has 40 major antioxidants. And I mean major, I'm talking about major. Wait till you do your research. This is a blast. When you do your research, what we got, because you're not going to what? Trust us, you're going to do what? You're going to trust us. If I'm going to drive from Denver to share this with you, you can at least drive home and do some research. Hello! Somebody slapped me. Okay. Just checking. And Sue's done some research. And some of it, she trusted some of the research I've done, and we flipped it to people, so we can get you what we call a starter email, so it helps you just kind of get some of the research going really, really fast. And so this, in the pricing of this, if you was try to, and this has a little bit of a multi-level effect in it with some, folic acids and things like that as well in it. But if you want to try to replace this bottle, you'll get stuff that has maybe 3 or 4 antioxidants and 5 or 6 trace minerals. Cost you over $200 and some dollars. And this, and I don't, yeah, $60, something like that. I can't remember all the numbers. $60. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And once you get saturated with this, you're supposed to take 3/4 of an ounce a day. If you're sick and you're fighting some cancer stuff, you'll want to double, triple up on this, okay? And just per day, and take 1/4 of an ounce just multiple times as well, along with another product called Ficoid, which we'll get into in just a minute. But with that said, once you get healthy and you saturate your body, you could use 1/4 of an ounce a day. This bottle could last you 90 days. It could last you 1 month. If you're sick, it could last you 2 weeks. What's going on in your body? Whole lot cheaper than what your deductible is for your insurance. Hello?
That's right.
I mean, it's gone down, deductible. I mean, I understand insurance-wise things have changed. And if you haven't noticed, you will. They've changed. And so there's a lot of people having paid 20, 30% on deductible. Doing this is a lot cheaper than if you had a $100,000 surgery of some sort and you're paying $20,000. You can get a lot of Spectramax for $20,000. Okay, I thought that was kind of cool, but maybe you don't put that up. So that's the power of pricing. This is the power of the purity of what he does. And this product here is called Eternity, kind of like the name of it. This is like, anti-eternity and the eternity. What's neat about this product is it's resveratrol. It's a certain grape seed and grape skin that comes off of a certain grape, and a lot of the people in France, This particular grape, which you hardly won't find it here in the United States, or even a wine that has it in it. If you did and you drank that wine, you're going to get some medicinal, therapeutic help with it. Just a little bit of medicinal help, not necessarily therapeutic. But with this is equivalent to 70 or 274 glasses of that wine in one dose. This is one power-packed, punched product. I mean, you talk about something that is this wakens what they call the youth gene that's in your body. Can you remember what that gene's called? Say it again. Sarah who? Serotonin. That's why he's along. He's a tech. All right. He's the brains. All right. Serotonin. It's got the serotonin gene. It'll just like woohoo, light your shucks. I don't care how wet your wood is. This is gonna get it lit. This will wake you up. It just flat get you going. Wayne, you're gonna love this. The youth gene is, and sorry, I'm gonna talk to this side over here. Wayne's about ready to throw something. He's actually granted. You take a couple bottles, all right? And so it wakens up the youth gene in your body. It just absolutely makes you come alive. So here's what happens, and we're talking about the purity of the product. This product is one of Tom's babies. It's one of his favorite products that he's put together because of the complexity of it and the results that it has. And so how this product is built, this has a couple things. It has nanotechnology in it. Have you ever heard of someone, Faith, that's had a heart attack and they throw a nitro pill under their tongues?